into the Cypher. Prepare for another all-nighter.
On the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And if you have decided that now is the time you think you want to get on the bandwagon, I told you last week that you had to be on while pretty much the West Finals were going on between the Blackhawks and the Kings. So if you didn't get on the bandwagon, I'm sorry, it's full. But just in case you want to watch how this is going to play out, the first game of the Stanley Cup Finals will be this Wednesday.
Wednesday night at 7.
At 7, and it will be on NBC. So just in case you don't have cable, you can tune it.
You don't want to up the extra $9 for NBC Sports Network.
You're going to be able to catch this first matchup game on NBC. I'm looking forward to it, and I don't know how this is going to play off. I mean, I want to say the Blackhawks are going to win this, but it's going to be a test for them. And on many different levels, it's going to be a test. And the best thing you should feel like is this. Lots of players have gotten integrated in the mix in regards to scoring. Pretty much like the 21 players, not counting the goalie that's on the roster, 12 of those players have scored goals. So the scoring throughout the playoffs have really been spread out, and I think that's key. It was good to see Patrick Kane kind of get back into the mix last night with the hat trick. I mean, things are coming together at the right time. But this team, I keep saying this, and I know people are tired of hearing me say it, they are very physical. And I just don't see the Hawks with that same level of physicality. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I feel that. But before I get to that part, what you said about Kane, and Kane, for whatever stuff he does off the ice and everything, this dude in the biggest games has stepped up for the Hawks. He scored the game-winning goal to win the freaking Stanley Cup. And then he comes back in the biggest game of the year, one of the biggest games of the year, and gets a hat trick. Think about that.
No, it's amazing. Like I said, scoring is coming. Actually, here's what's nice. Scoring is coming off of all four lines. And that's what's really important, is that even though Quenneville may be mixing this up, they are getting scoring off the four lines. So he's going to have some flexibility in how he shuffles things to do with the matchup. Like I said, it's more the physicality I'm worried about, and hoping that injuries don't sustain from this. Because if you watch that last game in the matchup between the Bruins and the Penguins, they were like lifting people up and twirling them around and dropping them on the ice. And I was like, okay, I'm concerned, because I don't think anybody has been. I know LA is physical, but I didn't see them the same way in that matchup with the Blackhawks. I didn't see that type of physicality.
But that being said, I think the Detroit series is a series that made men out of the Blackhawks, so to speak. I think having to go through that, if they had to walk through Detroit, then I would probably be with you as far as being a little nervous, but I still think Hawks in 6 with this one.
Detroit was a test, but that was also a rivalry that's steeped in something more than just.
But don't you think they kind of needed that?
They needed it. They did need it. But I'm just saying, I watched that series between Boston and the Penguins, and that kind of physicality I just didn't see in any of the games that the Blackhawks played. Not to that level. They were manhandling. They were treating. Did you hear what I said? You talk about Crosby, Letang, all these key players in the Penguins.
Stars.
Shut them down. Like, took them out of the mix.
Yeah.
That's craziness.
Yeah.
That's craziness. Yeah. That happened. So I'm all Blackhawks. I feel we can win it. It could go to Game 7. It could be 7 games. That won't shock me. Honestly, it wouldn't.